Hey guys, Standing Simmer here today, and welcome back to the channel for another speed build here in The Sims 4. Guys, not only is it just any other speed build, it's also the first video that I'm putting out this year. I'm really excited to be recording again. As some of you may know, if you've been kind of like keeping an eye on the channel and paying attention to the schedule and all that kind of stuff, or if you watch/listen to the last couple of videos I put out last year, you know that I took a little bit of a break, kind of crossing over here into the new year. And the main reason for that is I just kind of needed to take a little bit of time, like not necessarily away from YouTube per se, but just like some downtime in general in my life. And I knew that, of course, taking a little bit of a break from YouTube would really heavily facilitate that because I spend a lot of my time putting together YouTube videos outside of work and things like that. So back at it again, excited to be recording, excited to be making a couple of changes. In fact, you guys may have noticed as well that there are already some new things kind of around the channel a little bit. We have new channel art, new intros, outros, all that kind of stuff. Really excited to be sharing this with you guys finally, because in some cases I've like had them made for, I don't even know, like a couple of weeks maybe in some cases. And I've just been kind of sitting on them, like waiting to actually use them in videos and things like that. So really excited about that. Very, very excited to be recording, and I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that you all had an amazing start to the new year and that your holidays were great and that you ended them off well and you're ready to really just tackle 2019. I actually want to hear from you guys about like what your goals are and things like that in the comments. If you want to share anything, like, are you New Year's resolution people? Do you like have a certain set of things that you resolve at the beginning of every year, and like you've been doing that for a few years and like you're really just determined this year to make those goals your goals, kind of a thing? Let me know how that's looking for you in the comments. As you guys may know about me, mainly because I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I'm really heavily a New Year's person. Like, I really love the start to a brand new year. The promise of new beginnings and a fresh start really appeals to me in a big way. And so even if I'm not like setting a set amount of, quote unquote New Year's resolutions, I really do make it a turnaround point for a couple of things in my life. So like I start new habits. I kind of like use it as a chance to introduce new channel art, like things like that. So I really like the new year as like that benchmark for change, whatever that change may be. And so it makes me excited. I hope that you guys had a great start to it, as I mentioned earlier. And once again, very, very excited to be recording again because I really have missed this. In fact, I made it a point to make this first speed build back kind of a longer one. Like, I didn't cut out as much in the editing process as I normally would. Like, you guys could see a little bit more of what I do, like floor planning, things like that, because bathrooms actually as well. Like, I showed you guys the floor plan in the bathrooms. Like, this never happens, but primarily because I wanted this to be a tad bit of a longer video so that I can have a chance to really just kind of like just be over here at my computer talking with you guys. I really have missed interacting with you, especially here on YouTube. Now, thankfully, like Twitch is nice because it gives me like the chance, like mainly to interact with you guys in a live manner. So I can converse with you. I can like find out what's going on in y'all's lives. But I know that like not everybody who's here on YouTube is also crossing over to Twitch. So those of you who I haven't seen over there, I've missed you, and I miss like seeing you in the comments and all that kind of stuff and interacting with you there. So again, really happy to be back, really excited to like, share a couple things with you in this video, and then just talk about what we're doing here today, of course, in general, which I've not even like mentioned the build at all. So here we go. But this build I actually built, it's been several weeks ago now, actually. I like was hit with a burst of inspiration because a sim I was playing in a current household and currently am still playing really was in need of a new house. And that's where a lot of my build inspiration has been coming from recently. I don't know. I'm finding it difficult to just build for nothing out of my own brain. So when my own sims come up with the need for houses, that's really when I am getting like direction on what to build. And so this is one of those builds for sure. I was really excited to put this together. I had like what I feel like is a pretty clear vision of what I wanted it to be, which is I wanted it to be in Oasis Springs. I wanted it to be in like this like bungalow type style. I don't even know what a bungalow is, guys. I really have no idea, but for some reason this is one of the things that comes to mind when I think of bungalow. And I wanted it to have bright colors everywhere. Like, I wanted it to have a very certain kind of aesthetic, and I am so happy with this house. Like, I have so loved playing in this house. I have, again, been playing in it for several weeks, ever since I finished the build. And so just know that even if I took a bit of a YouTube break as far as actually putting out content, know that I actually spent a lot of that time still playing the game a lot myself, still building. So over the next couple of weeks, I've already got some stuff that's kind of lined out to head y'all's direction as far as videos go, and I'm really excited to share those things with you guys. But I thought once again I'd kick it off with something that could be a little bit on the long side. I mean, looking at this house from the outside, you wouldn't necessarily necessarily think it was going to be like a massive build. And to be fair, it's really not. It ends up being like what could be the equivalent of about 3 bedrooms. Also has 2 bathrooms, but I don't like furnish 2 of the quote unquote bedrooms. I keep saying quote unquote, that's so annoying. I don't furnish 2 of them as actual bedrooms, but they just could have the potential to be. I furnished this in a very cluttered way though. It's like lots of stuff all kind of just mixed in there together. Like there's just clutter and color and really unique kind of personality filled items. And that was really what I was going for with when I started this build in the first place. That was kind of, once again, the aesthetic I was going for. And it really matches the personality of the sim that I am playing /was playing. Now I'm saying /was because this is the sim that I am playing with over on Tumblr. And at the time when I moved her out, it was just her and her dog. And now she has a bit more of a family, which I don't want to really talk about just yet because it would be a spoiler for what's actually happening like on my Tumblr, but like it's queued, but it hasn't happened just yet as far as my Tumblr audience goes. So I'm not going to really mention too much more than that. Like none of the bedroom furnishing or anything like that will give any of the further story away, because when I built this house, I intended it to be for this one sim and her dog to start. Like that was all the members of the household. Now, as far as, once again, her style is very bright, very colorful. She has a really fun, but also toned down personality. Like she really represents both sides of that well. And she likes collecting things and surrounding herself with beautiful things. And once again, that was just really what I was going for. And I felt like I accomplished that when it all came down to it. Now, you guys don't really see a lot of evidence of that just yet, but like as we go through the build, even in like one of the first rooms I started in, which was the kitchen, like right away there are pops of color like you wouldn't believe. And I think that you can get to an extent with color that you just put so much of it in one area that the messiness almost looks intentional, like it almost has a style of its own. I don't know if you guys know like what I'm talking about there exactly, but that's definitely what I was going for, and that was really what I was hoping to achieve. And again, I feel like I did okay with it for the most part. But anyways, the sim is actually a like a YouTube star or SimTube star for the most part. She's really the first sim I've encountered that I really wanted to play with like the media production skill with, specifically with regard to video. She hasn't really encountered the musical aspect of that just yet. In fact, I never really intend to do that with her because she's very much like the vlogging type, like the making the videos type, not nearly as much the musical type. So she actually ends up maxing out the media production skill, which I think was really, really awesome because again, hadn't had a chance to really play with that aspect of Get Famous just yet. I didn't even know it was like a 5-level skill either. It's like a half skill, like some other skills are like photography and things like that. And so she has actually maxed out the skill. Actually, she had maxed it pretty close to when I moved her into this house, so that's really not a spoiler or anything like that. But sorry, I just like cracked my knuckle just then, and I feel like my hands were suddenly like really close to the microphone, so I'm like cracking my knuckles right here in front of you guys on the microphone. I don't know, I feel like I'm in a little bit of a weird humor, mainly because well, first of all, I just got done streaming, and so I don't feel like I'm not used to talking. I feel like I'm okay in the talking realm, but at the same time, I'm like talking to nothing at the moment. Like I'm just kind of talking into the open air, and also haven't recorded a voiceover like this in a while. And so I feel like minorly out of practice, but also kind of in the zone at the same time. Once again, makes no sense whatsoever. I also just drank an iced coffee because it's like kind of late-ish for me in the evening. For me to actually be drinking iced coffee, it's like just after 6 for me at the moment. And I don't normally drink coffee this late, but I was really starting to find myself have some difficulty with keeping my eyes open. And it's a little early in the evening for me to be like that tired, especially on a weekend, which I'm recording this over the weekend. You guys aren't seeing it on a weekend, but you know, you get my idea. But yeah, I was just like really kind of struggling a little bit on that front. So I was like, probably just better make some coffee and go with it because I might be up a little bit late tonight compared to what I normally would like to be. But this whole weekend has been, for me, my sleep schedule is rough right now. It just kind of is. I've stayed up really late the past couple of nights, which I don't normally tend to do. I try to keep to a decent bedtime even on days that I know I'm gonna have the next day off, and then I still get up like at a decent time. I don't really sleep in very much even on my days off because my sleep schedule is such that if I sleep in too much, I will really mess myself up for the next week, and I'll just be miserable and tired at work all week. And so while I like still wake up at 5:30 on my regular mornings, I still wake up at like 6:37 on my days off mornings. So it's still a sleep in, but it's not quite as much of a sleep in as if I was like waking up during the week. So I feel like it's a good trade-off. But this weekend specifically, I've really been doing okay with the waking up times, but it's the sleeping times I've been, like the going to bed times I've been having more difficulty with. Like I have gone to bed the Friday night for me, it was like past midnight, which is unheard of, guys. Like if you know me and you know my schedule, I do not go to bed anywhere close to midnight. Like we are in bed asleep and have been for a while by the time midnight rolls around for me usually. And so that was kind of unusual. Like, don't really know where that was coming from exactly. But, and then the following night, which for me was Saturday night, of course, I didn't stay up quite as late as I did the night before, but I was pretty close. Like I was still like in the 11 to midnight range. Like we were in that area kind of. And again, very unusual for me. I do not know what my sleep schedule is going to be like going into this next week, but we're just going to see how it goes, guys. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm really not expecting the best necessarily. But I don't know. You guys have to let me know if you are on any kind of winter break right now with Christmas and all that. If you've done anything fun or exciting or anything you'd like to share, like, I don't know, vacations or just hanging out and resting and maybe catching up on stuff from the semester or preparing for things for the next semester. I'd love to hear all that kind of stuff if you have it to share with me, because I always I'm like low-key vicariously living through people who have winter breaks at this point in my life, because I used to have them myself, of course, when I was in school, and haven't actually been in school for, it's gonna be like a solid year and a half roughly. And so I've been through at least the cycle of a year without like being in breaks or anything like that. So I should kind of starting to be getting used to it and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, sorry guys. So I just had to like stop my recording there for a second and step away for like a good while, because my neighbor turned on his vehicle and was like revving really aggressively. And I knew, like, I was looking at my mic levels as it was happening. I was like, there's no way they're not gonna hear this stuff. So I was like, oh, let's just, step away, come back in a minute. You'll remember what you were talking about, Mariah. No, I don't. No idea what I was talking about. I want to say it had something to do with winter break, because for some reason I'm remembering that we were like maybe discussing that a second ago. Specifically the fact that I don't have them anymore, maybe, possibly, and that I'm kind of like excited for people who still do, because like once you get onto the working world, for the most part, unless you take vacation, of course, you don't have like pre-built breaks into your year. That's one really nice thing about college, just gonna throw that out there, and just school as a whole, is that when you are in some kind of an educational institution, then you're gonna have breaks built in for holidays and for like longer extended holidays like Christmas and across Thanksgiving and things like that. And then of course like spring break, of course, too. And of course, when you are working like in the, I don't want to say real world, because like when you're in college, like you're in the real world, like it's just a slightly different form of like the working world. It's kind of rough because like you just don't have breaks ever. Life just marches on. Summer's not a thing, summer's a season that you experience when you're working, kind of a thing. But I'm always excited to hear what people do across their winter breaks, because I know of some people who legitimately like go to the warmest places that they can find, because where I live in the wintertime, it's very cold. Typically, this winter has been a little bit of an exception though, I will say. Like for the most part, we've had like slightly chilly weather, and once, it's been, I don't even know, weeks ago now, we had some like a lot of snow on the ground and it got really, really, really cold. But then other than that, it's been like pretty mild. We've been having, I don't know, like 40s, 50s, which that's of course Fahrenheit, and where I live, that's pretty good actually. That's a really decent mild set of temperatures. And so I'm not even really sure if we've officially had winter yet. We've now of course crossed into winter time, but I don't even know. I'm hoping that we kind of have a little bit more of this nice-ish weather that we've been having. I actually walked outside the other day and I was like, this like feels and smells like spring, but it's January, and I know that I'm gonna be disappointed in like a couple of weeks time if it's snowing, because wintertime is really not my favorite. I'm okay with it being kind of cold and kind of snowy around like Christmas, and then that's pretty much it. I'd be so okay if winter just kind of went away from then and we just had spring that started in like early January. I would be very, very okay with that. I really kind of like in years past have struggled with like winter blues and everything kind of like that. I've already been experiencing a small form of that, even though you really can't even consider the kind of weather we've been having for the most part to be winter. But just in general, having a lot of weather when you don't see the sun very much and sometimes for days at a time, or if you go to school or work like I do, and I know probably a lot of you do too, when you go to school or work pretty early in the morning and you don't see a lot of the sun as it's coming up, and then maybe you get out really late in the day and the sun's already set. Usually when I get off work, the sun is full blown into like post sunset. Like the sun is down. It is dark. I don't really see a lot of the sunshine except like when I look out the window from time to time at work. And so not really seeing a lot of that or experiencing that kind of does tend to throw me in the winter blues sometimes. And this year I've already been kind of experiencing a little bit of that. Right now it feels like in some ways worse than last year and in other ways better. Like I can't even really explain that, but I'm also just like trying to relish in this nicer weather that we're having while it's here, knowing that even if it does get cold again, which it's gonna, like guys, it's January, it's gonna get cold again. But when that happens, that I'll be okay until spring. Like I can make it, it'll be fine. I just need to really make it a point to like enjoy the weather while it's here. And then when it comes back again later, enjoy it again. I don't know, it just gives you something to look forward to, you know? So we are pretty much like getting really close to finishing like the living areas as far as the main living areas go of the house. Like we've already kind of gone through, like I mentioned, the really bright and colorful kitchen. I had a good time using some things that I don't use a lot, but then other things I use quite a bit, but in different swatches and things like that. Once again, my thinking was just kind of like throw all this color in this area and hopefully it'll look okay when it's all said and done. And can attest that as far as like playing in this house and all that kind of stuff, I have loved this house so much. Like this house is, I don't know, I'm really a fan of this house. And it sounds bad for me to say that because I built this stinking house, but I mean it more in like if somebody else had built this house, I would just be like blown away. I would feel the same way. It's not because I built it that I think it's so cool, but I really like this house a lot, and I don't always necessarily end up building things I feel that way about. So when it happens, I'm really excited about it, and I love playing in it, and excited to kind of continue growing the Sims family from here. I mentioned that the two other rooms on the other side of the house, which honestly, I've not been 100% looking at the screen the entire time as the video playback is happening, so I'm not 100% sure if we've actually done those rooms already, but there's a master bedroom, which we're kind of furnishing in this area, but then there on the other side of the house, there are two smaller rooms that I'm classing as bedrooms, but that I decorate in different ways. So one of them ends up being like a yoga studio, and the other one is a recording studio for my Sim, who again makes YouTube videos or SimTube videos, whatever. She's a vlogger. She has a drone. It's the whole thing. Like she's very professional. Earns a lot of money too, guys. If you haven't played with that aspect of Get Famous yet, know that you can earn so much money with that stuff. Like we're talking the equivalent of what book royalties are in The Sims, possibly more. Like it's really impressive how much money she's making at this stuff. And every day when the check comes in at like 10 a.m., I'm like, how are you making this much money? Like we just make a video from time to time and it makes a lot of money, I will just say. So much so that there for a while, like we had like around 100K in their household funds like all the time. And we're not talking about cheating here. Like we're talking about money that she had built from scratch. When she first moved into this house, it was a little bit more than what her budget could afford, but I wanted her to have the house and I didn't want to like delete anything to make it a little bit more affordable. So I cheated her into the house, but then like cheated down her money as she went so that she could like pay off the house, so to speak. And even after the house was paid off, which thinking back, I want to say this house is somewhere in the range of like 70 to 80,000 simoleons. Please don't quote me on that because I'm probably so wrong there. It's been several weeks since I've actually like uploaded it to the gallery. Like it's done. I haven't touched that part of it in a while. But even with that and like cheating down her money as time went on, we still have like, again, in the neighborhood of 100K with pretty much just her YouTube royalties or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty impressive just how much money that can bring in. So just to let you know, very lucrative if you're looking for a way to make your Sim a good little bit of money, like in a rags to riches style, and you kind of want to play that aspect of the new pack, you will not be doing too poorly for yourself. I'm just going to say that right now. So guys, we hadn't yet obviously furnished those two rooms that I was mentioning a little while ago because we obviously like just did those rooms or are in the process of doing those rooms. But then following that, we kind of moved back out onto the outside of the house as a whole. I was really wanting to put in some things like a hot tub, which probably in the point that you are in the footage right now, you're not seeing it quite just yet, but just know, like, hot tub, I wanted to get some outdoor activities going. Had to really wrap up some more of the landscaping, because typically what I do with my houses is I build the outside, I put together a lot of like the sidewalk bits and some of the terrain painting bits and all that kind of stuff. And then I go inside because I'm tired of doing like furnishing, well, not furnishing, landscaping really for the most part. And then after I finish the inside of the house and all the furnishing and all that kind of stuff, I then jump back outside and do all the stuff that I neglected earlier. So that's no exception for what we're doing in this video today. Did a lot of the outside stuff, put together the structure of the house, kind of got things laid out where I wanted them to go, and then boom, inside, left the outside alone for a while, and then jump back out there later on. So guys, one thing I definitely would like you to know is that, especially here starting off the beginning of the new year, as I mentioned, kind of a fan of those whole new beginnings thing, there is a big aspect of me that's like looking to see if there's anything else you guys want to see on the channel content wise. So do know that while I always am open and available to take your suggestions, depending on how things look, just know that I'm like always open to that. I love hearing from you guys and I love hearing your feedback. So while that isn't necessarily like a new thing, I am specifically at the beginning of the year kind of like looking to see what you guys are wanting to see on the channel. So if there are certain kinds of videos that maybe I've done in the past but don't do very often and you guys would like to see more of, or that there are videos that I've never really done before, whether it regards like, I'm talking specifically like within the realms of the Sims franchise, or like some chatty videos, like I don't even know. Like if there's anything like that you guys are wanting to see, then just know that I would definitely love to hear that feedback from you, because I'm really planning certain things out right now. Again, kind of going into the new year, I've been thinking about a few things a lot in the last couple of weeks, and I'm already beginning to implement some changes, some of which you guys will hear about later in the week. But on top of that, just in general, know that if you have ideas for content and videos you would like to see from me, please do let me know, because I am excited to maybe do a couple of little different things from here and there. Now, one thing I do want to tell you guys right now, just to kind of prepare you, just in case, like, I don't know, well, actually, just in case you're expecting this and it doesn't happen later in the week, do know that the video that's going to go up on Saturday, which is when I normally put up my current household updates, will probably not be a current household update. I definitely promised more something along the lines of Not So Berry starting back first thing in the year, and of course it will, like, don't worry about that. But typically, since that's the day I put up current household updates, I wanted to let you guys know that it probably won't be, only because I haven't really been playing Not So Berry like a ton the last couple of weeks, and by that I mean like not very much at all. My sim in that legacy challenge I've been playing, which some of you guys may know is Peach if you've been keeping up with those updates, she is a young adult now and she's moved out on her own, but we haven't really done much at all beyond that. And so there's like nothing I could tell you if I did an update there. In the other households I'm playing, like I'm so far ahead, like in my current, like where I am right now gameplay wise compared to where I am sharing them on Tumblr, that I really don't want to spoil stuff. Like I've put stuff ahead early in regard to my current households in the past. Like they're a little ahead of where I'm sharing my gameplay wise on Tumblr, but we're talking loads ahead. So it would just be ridiculous for me to share them at this point because I'm so far ahead. I also have Sims 2 and Sims 3 current households going right now, both of which I've shared a lot over on Twitch, but I don't know if that's something that you guys would like to see from me over here. A couple of ideas just in general that I've had are like custom content showcases, so like not shopping where you guys watch me go through Tumblr, but me showing you some of my favorite stuff in the game, but then also things like Sims 2 speed builds. I'd like to try my hand at something like that, but I don't know if you guys would like to see that, mainly because I've been playing The Sims 2 quite a bit here recently, primarily over on Twitch, or if you'd like to see that household or the household I'm playing in The Sims 3, which is like a university playthrough, but will ultimately be like an all-in-one playthrough. If you guys want to see anything like that, and if it's something you would be interested in, that and or anything else you guys come up with, just let me know in the comments, because you guys know I like to hear from you. But I am gonna go ahead and start to just slowly round off my voiceover here because we are coming close to the end. So guys, this build is available on the gallery, and if you would like to find it, the information to do so is in the description, or you can check under my gallery user, which is Standing Simmer, or under the hashtag Standing Simmer as well. And guys, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today for this speed build, the very first video I'm putting out in 2019, and happy 2019 to all of you. And I just appreciate you being here all the time. Like, you guys make me so happy, and I appreciate the what you bring to my life. It's really pretty incredible. But with that being said, I am gonna go ahead and round things off right here. But thank you again so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you're having the best of days, and I will see you very soon. Bye!